Okay, I've officially seen stupidity beyond belief. See, Adam Sessler being like ex G4 used to be the guy that would go on and talk whatever he felt like about games. Well, I used to respect the man back in the day. He was one of the better personalities on G4. He has totally sold out. Sold out, and his opinions have become watered down and commercial, and overall, I'd say has lost a lot of credibility. He's officially went to the point right now. It's official. He has become a retard. I'll tell you what I mean. He said Iwata should be fired. Okay. Iwata may not be perfect CEO, but he's one of the best CEOs in the game industry. Many people are starting to lay off people and saying that, oh, we can save money by cutting studios out. Like Sony's cut several studios out. Iwata said that if he started laying off employees and destroying his studios, like for example, he fired everyone on Retro and destroyed Retro, or something like that, it would harm the. For example, if he did something like that, it would harm the company, and they would make good products because they'd be afraid of being fired. One example: look at the Deadpool game. That game reeked because they're basically being pressured into doing that or losing their job. Iwata knows if you make your people happy, they're going to put out better products, thus earning you more money in the end. And Sessler said he should be fired. Well, look at Sony. He never attacked Sony, and look at the Vita. Sony has released the Vita. It's been out for one fucking year, one whole year. That's quite a while, and it has no games planned. The Wii U has been out half a year and has several games planned. Then why does he think Iwata should be fired, but he doesn't say anything about Sony's people? Like, they're doing bad too. And I'm not attacking Sony because I don't like Sony. I actually love Sony. I love PlayStation, but they really need to do something about the Vita. I mean, the Wii U has several cool cutting edge games announced. The Vita, well, it's an accessory for the PS4. Don't give me that bullshit excuse, Sony. Really. And let me. And another thing that he did to totally piss me off and annoy me was he said Pikmin 3 is not a core game. It's not a hardcore core game, and it's not going to sell very well. And that that he overall just bashed the game, saying it did not add anything new to the series. New to the series. Last time I heard, it had groundbreaking multiplayer, added several new types of Pikmin and new mechanics, and you can play with an extra person, like up to 3 or 4 people or something. I forgot how much, but yeah, it was more than previous games. It was quite an improvement for Pikmin 2, and Pikmin 2 was a great game. Sessler, on the other hand, also the other thing that pissed me off about that was how he's implying that, as I said, it was not a hardcore game. Hardcore game? What does he define as hardcore? A game that involves guns, guts, explosions, tits, drugs. That does not make a hardcore game. A game does not have to be mature to be hardcore. That's a different type of hardcore. To me, hardcore is a good, solid game with good quality content. Game. Look at Call of Duty. Call of Duty. I'm not saying Call of Duty is a crappy game. It's a decent game, but Ghost doesn't really add much into new games other than earthquakes and dogs. That's about it. That really interests me in the new one. It doesn't interest me. No, it's fucking boring. It ain't much of an addition. Just minute shit. It's more of a rehash than anything. Pikmin 3 is not a rehash. Call of Duty Ghosts is. Then he goes on to say Nintendo doesn't have any real sex appeal. What's he talking about sex appeal? Is he talking about tits and pussy? If so, look at a game, one of the most sexually driven games there is, Bayonetta 2. I think his point's invalid. He is just ran his course. I mean, really. Nintendo has some core games coming up. X or Xenoblade sequel or whatever you want to call it. Zelda Wind Waker HD. Of course, that's a HD remake, but they've added a lot. They have several games. 101. They have that. They have tons of games. I could go on for a while, but they have a lot of good games coming out. As for what Sessler says, I think Sessler's contradicted himself, if you ask me. I think he is a huge contradiction and a shame to the industry for what he's been saying about Nintendo and their games. And before you point the finger and start saying, "Oh, Blade Fist, you're a Nintendo fanboy," I'm not a fanboy. I had an Xbox 360 and I loved it. It red ringed and I'm fixing on replacing it. I'm also thinking about getting a PS4. The PS4 looks like a good system. I have a Vita, even though I'm not very happy with the lack of games. I still have a Vita, but I have Sega consoles. I don't mind getting a Turbo Graphics. All these. I even don't think the Xbox One's complete shit like everyone says it is. It may not be the best system and may have several flaws, but as long as they keep the restrictions out for over a year or two, I may consider getting one in a couple years. That is because I'm not taking my risks anytime soon with their shady asses. But I'm not a fanboy. I'm just sticking up for what I believe is right, what I believe is true, and I believe Sessler has just ran his course. He's all hyped on that G4 fame he achieved, and now he thinks he's invincible. He's honestly becoming as worse as Michael Pachter. He's not that bad as Michael Pachter yet, but give me a year or two, I can tell you he'll be as bad, as biased and bullshitty as him. I need to do a Michael Pachter rant someday, but I'm getting off topic. M. Sessler, you're incorrect. And if you want to see a further rant on the same issue that makes a lot of sense, I'll link you to another video by Furious Francis, one of my favorite YouTube ranters. He did a rant from PlayerEssence.com. He did a rant about the same issue, and it made a lot of sense. Probably one of my influences for doing this rant. So check out his channel and be sure to subscribe to me. Over and out.